Hello and welcome to another creative coding video. This time we're going to look again at the idea of variables and go even slower with an even simpler example. The idea can be a little confusing, particularly if you've never seen it before or done any coding before. So compared to the last video, we're going to be working with an even simpler example. So I'm logged into Open Processing as usual, and I've got my simple setup as usual. I've got my library Simple.js enabled. If you need to remind yourself about how to do all that, go back to the very first video and that's explained there. In my draw section I have just one instruction, a circle instruction, which is going to be drawn at a point 400 across, 300 down, and it will have a size of 100. Now that's something that we've done lots of before. We've drawn lots of circles. If you need a reminder, again, go back to the first few videos and they will explain how to use the circle instruction. So if we run this code, it should draw a circle. Yep, so that wasn't too much of a surprise. Now if we use our sketch here to show what's happened, we've drawn a circle at 400 across and 300 down, which happens to be the center of the canvas there, and it has a diameter of 100. Was it 100 or? Yep, it was 100. So it's going to be there. It's got a diameter 100. So that's stuff we know how to do already. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is straight away, instead of talking too much about this new idea of variables, we're just going to use them and work out what they do from using them. So if we look again at our circle instruction, the first number is the x-coordinate, how far along the canvas that circle is. Now let me put a letter instead of a number. Now when the circle instruction is run, it will say, oh hello, I'm expecting 3 numbers. The horizontal position, the vertical position, and the size. But hang on, I don't see a number there. I see the letter A. What is A? If I don't know what A is, I'm going to stop the program running, stop the code running, and I'm going to throw an error. In fact, why don't we do that just for fun, just to see. Yep, you can see at the bottom there, it's got a cryptic message, but in there it says A is not defined. We've not told it what A is. And it can't read minds. It needs to be told everything precisely. So we're going to tell it that A is 400, and the way we do that, if you look at the code, it kind of makes sense. We're saying A equals 400. So whenever it sees A, it'll say, aha, that was 400. And var is instruction to tell the computer that we're creating a variable. That's what these things are called, variables. You can just think of them as names for boxes which store our numbers. So I'll draw that here. I'll draw a box. And this box is called A, and inside we've put a number. There we go. So if we run this code, it should draw, without an error, a circle at 400, 300. So that's it. That's our first use of a variable, and it's a very simple example, but it illustrates how they work and how we create them. Now this example might not seem so compelling. You might look at this example and say, well, what was the point? But you can do many, many more things with variables that you couldn't easily do without them. One example, and we touched on this with the longer example last time, we can draw another circle that's related in some way to the first one. So I'm giving it the same, put a question mark there for now. I've given it the same position down the canvas, 300. I've given it the same size. If I say A again, it'll just draw the same circle over the last one. Let's run that. Yeah, it looks like one circle because the second circle is exactly over the first one. But if I said A plus 100, what does that do? Space that out a little bit. Well, let's imagine we're the computer. We've seen the circle instruction and said, aha, I'm expecting 3 numbers to tell me where to draw the circle and what size. The size is 100. It's 300 down the canvas, but there's not a simple number here. A, what's A? Oh yes, you've already told me that A is 400. But hang on, you've said A plus 100, so that's 400 plus 100, so that's 500. So this will be turned into 500 when the circle is drawn. Let's see the effect. Yep, so it's drawn 2 circles, one further along from the first one. Let's go back to our sketch and see why that is. So we started with a variable called A, and we put 400 inside it, and we said the first circle is drawn at, what was it again? A, 300, which is 400, 300, because that's what A is. A is 400. The next circle is at A plus 100, 300. A plus 100, A plus 100 is 400 plus 100, which is 500. So it's going to be at 500. 300. There we go. And that's why we've got 2 circles that are next to each other. And it's a nice way of developing shapes which can move easily. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I said A is no longer 400, but A is 200, it means the first circle is drawn at 200, 300, and this one is drawn at 300, 300. And the effect of that is to move it to the left a bit, and they've both moved. And that's the power of variables. I can say this is the starting position, A is 200, then everything else depends on that. So that's quite nice. There are lots of uses for variables, but that's one which I hopefully illustrates some of the power of variables. It means we don't have to individually calculate the location of each circle. Let's develop that a bit further. I'm going to make 3 circles, and I'm going to draw that one an extra 100 along, so it's A plus 200. So that should draw 3 circles. And if I said, no, I want that one to be at 600, then everything should be moved along. Let's run that. Yep, in fact it's gone off the canvas a little bit. So I hope that's helped explain what variables are with a simple enough example, and at the same time I hope this example's shown you what the point of these variables is. We've seen that it's allowed us to draw 3 circles that are related to each other through that variable. Okay, I hope that was useful. Do get back to me if you'd like something explained a little bit slower. Otherwise, have fun and experiment yourselves. Bye.